Weirdest planets in the universe by Captain Cipher. We've watched what would happen if you got like 10 essentially planets that are basically hell on just hell. The outcome usually was you'd get vaporized. That was the outcome. Every single time you'd enter these planets, you'd get vaporized, right? Seems like Earth is the only chill place. And even here you might end up getting vaporized. So yeah, that's a fun thing. We'll jump in. Also, please consider liking and subscribing. We will look at this. Let's see.
All right, let's open the right page. 55 Cancri E, the Diamond Planet.
Who is, by the way, naming these planets? Like, you gotta be on some weird shit to name. Like, if I had discovered a planet, it would just be like Steven, or Robert, or Dave, or Gustav. Like, not V55. Cancri E.
55 Cancri E, also known as Jensen, is one of the strangest planets
Jensen. Well, it appears that it do have normal names.
Ever discovered. It is located about 41 light-years from Earth and orbits a star similar to our Sun. Despite the distance, it stands out because of how extreme and unusual its properties are. The planet orbits incredibly close to its star, completing one full year in just 18 hours. This extreme...
Damn, a year's just 18 hours. Imagine that. Truly, imagine that.
Orbit exposes it to intense radiation and heat with surface temperatures estimated to exceed 2,000 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt solid rock. Scientists believe much of its surface may be covered by vast oceans of lava, constantly reshaped by powerful volcanic...
But why diamonds? That's an important question. Why diamonds?
...activity. 55 Cancri is very likely tidally locked, meaning one side of the planet permanently faces the star while the other side remains in complete darkness. This creates extreme temperature differences and may drive intense heat circulation across the planet. What truly makes this planet unique...
Okay, interesting. So one side is always hot and one side is always cold. That's the usual thing. You'd get vaporized. That is the experience.
...is its hypothesized carbon-rich composition. Based on early density measurements and the chemistry of its host star, scientists have suggested that the planet may contain large amounts of carbon. Under immense pressure, this carbon could form diamond-rich layers deep within the planet's mantle. This idea led to its nickname, the Diamond Planet.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter if there's a lot of diamonds. Listen, as long as there's no oil, nobody's going there, right? The moment the US finds out there's oil, they're gonna be like, it's time, guys. It's time. We gotta give this planet some freedom.
Although this interior structure...
Insert eagle noises.
...has not yet been confirmed. The planet's atmosphere adds to its strangeness. Observations suggest it may have a thin and possibly unstable atmosphere containing carbon-bearing gases such as carbon dioxide, which could be continually replenished by ongoing volcanic activity. The exact composition of this atmosphere is still being studied. 55 Cancri challenges traditional...
And they complain about CO2 on Earth. Look at this planet. Get a load of this planet.
...ideas of rocky planets. With molten rock surfaces, extreme chemistry, and a mysterious interior, it represents a type of world unlike anything found in our own solar system. HD 189733b.
Why? Why would you name a planet that? HD 189733b. Why? Why? Just give it a normal name. Like Candace. Stefson. Whatever.
B. HD 189733b is a planet that looks...
Oh yeah, that's the glass one. That's the glass one. Interesting. Okay, he brings up the glass one. Yeah, by the way, even if you could be on there, you get torn to shreds by glass. Like, you just get, like, cut into tiny billion, trillion pieces.
Ordinary at first, roughly the size of Jupiter, but its environment is anything but normal. Located about 64 light-years from Earth, it orbits its star in just 2.2 Earth days, so close that the planet is a furnace of extremes. The strangest thing about HD 189733b is its violent weather. Winds roar at over 8,700 kilometers per hour, faster than anything on Earth, driven by the...
Which would vaporize you. Yes. The wind would vaporize you. That's how much wind there is. Which is really interesting.
Extreme temperature difference between the day and night sides. But the real shocker is the composition of its atmosphere. It contains silicate particles, meaning the winds carry tiny solid grains of glass-like material. Imagine a storm where these abrasive particles are blown sideways at supersonic speeds, a destructive force if you could survive the heat. The planet is tidally locked, so one side always faces the star, creating a permanent contrast between a day side of scorching heat, around 1000 degrees Celsius.
The question is then, would the glass be on the other side too? And then the question is, if the glass on one side would be essentially molten, because that's what I'm assuming, right? That's molten. Would it be solid on the other side, which means that on the other side you just get vaporized? Like if the wind didn't vaporize you, the glass would, because it would just straight up pierce through you, and on the other side you would just like get cut into little pieces. I wonder which if that would be the case. You need to bring some freedom to outer space. Insert Helldivers and Space Marine programs 2026. It's time. It's time. But then again, let's hope that Space Marine, something like that, never becomes reality because, well, do you want to fight the things from the warp? Really? You want to fight some demons? Like, Slanesh, right? Isn't that the one that's, like, stinky and ugly?
And a slightly cooler night side. This locked rotation fuels the planet's extreme winds and chaotic atmosphere, keeping the silicate rain in constant motion. HD 1897-33b isn't just hot, it's a world where physics itself feels alien. Between ferocious winds, high-speed silicate particle storms, and blistering temperatures, it's one of the most violent and bizarre planets ever discovered, a stormy inferno that makes Jupiter look peaceful.
There's also a planet that essentially reflects zero light, like it's super dark, like it's crazy. It's like so dark. I wonder if that's what that one's in here.
Toy 849b.
Toy 849b. That looks like a solid planet. That's not gas, is it? Right? I don't know.
Toy 849b is one of the strangest planets ever discovered. Located about 730 light-years from Earth, it's a massive world with a mass around 40 times that of Earth, but unlike typical gas giants, it seems to have lost almost all of its hydrogen and helium envelope, leaving what might be a mostly rocky and metallic planetary core. This makes Toy 849b
interesting! Usually, like, planets about this size would, like, have, like, multiple layers and layers upon, gas, right? With like all types of stuff, and then usually below these layers of gas, you'd have some form of liquid, right? Not like water, but you'd have some form of liquid. Apparently, that's not the case here. Interesting. I've never heard of this one. That one is a new one. Well, the previous one also was new, but that one is also new. Interesting. Interesting. So essentially, you just have a rocky planet, ginormous rocky planet. Oh, well, the core. Yet you wouldn't be able to land on it because, like, you know, 40 times the gravity, 40 times the size, you just get crushed.
Unlike anything in our solar system. Most planets of its mass are shrouded in thick atmospheres, but this one is thought to be primarily dense rock and metal, essentially a naked core with perhaps a thin residual envelope. It orbits extremely close to its star, completing a full revolution in just 18 hours, exposing it to intense radiation that likely stripped away most of its outer layers. The result is a planet with a mass between that of Neptune and a gas giant, yet unusually compact, giving it a density far higher than typical gas giants. It may contain thousands of kilometers of compressed rock and metals, heated by both the star and the planet's own gravitational compression. Toy 5049b challenges our understanding of planet formation. How does a planet this massive lose almost its entire gaseous envelope and survive as a dense core? Some theories suggest it's a failed gas giant or the remnant of a much larger planet that was destroyed by its star's proximity. Either way, Toy 849b is a cosmic oddity, a giant, exposed planetary heart.
I've never heard that a planet of this size... Wait, by the way, failed gas giant. How would that even happen, right? At its size, how would that even happen? Yeah, I think it's just too close to the sun. It was just, like, stripped of its atmosphere. It's that simple. But then the question is, why didn't it end up being like lava and molten and anything, right?
Glowing metaphorically under a star, it orbits at record-breaking speed. GJ1214b. GJ1214b is one...
Bro, what the fuck is that? That's just like a neon blue, and then why is there a random hole there? What the heck?
One of the strangest exoplanets ever discovered, a water world candidate that defies our ideas of what a planet should look like. Located about 40...
Water.
38 light years from Earth, it's a super Earth roughly 2.7 times the size of our planet and about 6.5 times as massive. But the real weirdness isn't its size, it's what might make up the planet itself. Scientists believe GJ1214b could be covered almost entirely in water or water-rich materials, but at extreme pressures and temperatures, with an atmospheric temperature of roughly 200 to 400 degrees Celsius, any water on the planet wouldn't
the water just either boil or freeze? Now, 200 and minus 400 might depend, right? Because could there technically be life on this planet? Like deep down in the water?
exist as oceans like on Earth. Instead, it could be a supercritical fluid, a strange state where water is neither liquid nor gas. Imagine a planet where the oceans are a dense, high-pressure mist spanning the entire globe. The atmosphere adds another layer of weirdness. Observations suggest it could be a thick, steamy layer of hydrogen and helium over the water-rich interior, possibly mixed with steam, methane, or other exotic molecules. This creates an alien greenhouse effect that traps heat and transforms the outer layers into a pressurized, murky, metallic-like environment. GJ1214b is tidally locked with one side always facing its red dwarf star. But
okay, never mind. There will not be any life because this thing has no magnetic field. Right. The moment something is tidally locked, it has no magnetic field, right? That's why, for example, we're never gonna really properly colonize Mars because a dead core, and we cannot restart cores.
the truly mind-bending fact is its composition. A planet that might be largely water by mass, yet under extreme pressure and heat, forming a world that could look like a dense, steamy ocean under a heavy, misty atmosphere, completely unlike anything in our solar system. This is a planet that challenges our imagination, not because it's hot or cold or massive, but because its entire outer layer could be an alien ocean, dense, pressurized, and shrouded in a thick, mysterious atmosphere. Coconuts 2b. Coconuts
2b. That's a new one. I've never heard this one before. That's a fucking new one.
2b is a planet that feels almost lost in space. It orbits its red dwarf star at an extraordinary distance of about 6,400 to 70.
It looks like a lollipop. Yeah, it's just a big, ginormous lollipop at this point.
500 astronomical units, over 160 times farther than Pluto is from the Sun. At that distance, one complete orbit takes more than 1 million Earth years, meaning a single year on Coconuts 2b is longer than most human civilizations have existed. The planet is massive, roughly 6 to 8 times the mass of Jupiter. Yet
Okay. And it is very far away. So, here's something interesting. We may actually still have planets in our solar system, the more you know. We just can't see them. That is a fun fact. Here's a fun fact. We may actually still have planets in our solar system. We just can't see these fuckers. Because they're too far away, and we cannot capture them.
Yet what makes it truly bizarre is how isolated it is. Astronomers originally thought it was a rogue planet, drifting alone through the galaxy because it sits so far from its star that the host barely warms it. Its heat comes mainly from residual energy left over from its formation, giving its atmosphere a temperature of about 160 to 170 Kelvin, relatively cool for a gas giant, but still detectable from light years away.
Motherfucker, why did you... What? Why did you use Kelvin all of a sudden? And not, what is, let me see. What is that? Let me see. Why didn't you just say minus 113 degrees Celsius? That would have been... Why hit me with the Kelvin? Jeez.
Still detectable from light years away. Coconuts 2b's atmosphere may contain methane, water vapor, and cloud layers, making it more like a cold brown dwarf than a typical planet. Imagine a massive world slowly drifting through near darkness, with chemical processes quietly occurring in its faint
Okay, now I need to Google, what is a brown dwarf? That's a star. It's essentially a failed star. Pretty much. It's a failed star. It's a brown dwarf. Okay.
distant skies, all while completing a million-year-long orbit. This is not a planet of storms or lava, it's a planet of extreme isolation, a wandering giant at the edge of its system nearly untethered. Coconuts 2b shows that planetary systems aren't always orderly. Sometimes the universe creates lonely behemoths that drift.
Alright, interesting. Interesting. So this planet just drifts into the abyss, barely being able to I wonder how they. Sometimes I question how they even spot those, right? Since they're that far away, are they even receiving light? Anyways, very interesting. Very interesting.